Hi guys, we're back on your screen. This is Juvaina from Pathway to Us, your host for today. And today I have Grant Calabron, one of our migration agent here with Pathway to Us, who will assisting with all the concerns about employer sponsorship. Okay, so we are gonna talk about this. Yep. So we are going to talk about, with this session, we are going to talk about the visa of employer sponsorship. So hello to all our viewers out there. Currently, love, we have 13 viewers. Yay, feel free to say hi to us, guys. Thank you so much. So I can, shout out to you, team. Okay, Grant, is there anything you wanted to tell them as well before we proceed with all the questions I prepare?
Yeah, well, obviously, good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you're all doing well. Greetings from the Gold Coast. This is our 1 week of the year where it's a little bit cold. We're going to say that we're freezing, but it's a beautiful day, and I look forward to engaging with everyone online today.
Yes. So guys, feel free to hi, shout out to Rhoda Munjo who is watching right now. Hi Rachel Kumar, Muhammad Siam. Thank you so much guys for dropping by on our live today. So we were just like talking regarding just focusing on the employer sponsorship visa here in Australia. Okay, so if you have any concerns about that topic, feel free to comment down below. We will be assisting some of those questions, guys. But first, before we proceed with those questions, we will answer the 10 common questions for employer sponsorship, which I will be sharing with you here, guys, so you can see the questions. And then later on, we will be having our free mini game, and the winner will get a free consult with Grant. Okay, guys? So stay there, watch us. Okay. So now, Grant, we are going to proceed with the first question. Hi, Kuchet. Thank you so much for dropping by with our live. So I prep some questions. So my question number 1, Grant, is what is an employer-sponsored visa in Australia?
Yeah, look, JV, and to everyone out there, employer-sponsored visas are extremely popular, okay, and they're both temporary and permanent employer-sponsored categories. And one that we use quite regularly, of course, is the temporary employer-sponsored, the subclass 482 visa, which can then open a pathway into permanent employer sponsorship under the permanent employer sponsor, which is the subclass 186. So, in short, there are both temporary and permanent options. There's also employer-sponsored options available for what's called the training visa as well. But if anyone out there has followed my posts on TikTok or on YouTube in particular around employer-sponsored visas, you would have seen that it's hugely popular. It's a way of avoiding the complicated and competitive points test system. So.
Nice. Thank you so much, Grant. So guys, okay, so please stay with our live. Hi, Lionel. Hi, Novel. Thank you so much for dropping in our live today. So, Grant, we have 47 viewers right now. I think this is all over the world. I think there's a lot of nationalities. Feel free to comment down your nationalities, guys, so we can say hi to you. Okay, JC, man, I can see your comment down there, but Love will just assist some common concerns for now, and then later on, we will try to filter the comments down there. So feel free to just type in everything that you wanted to know, guys. So maybe, wow, we have 66 viewers right now. Guys, okay, so we're now going to question number 2. What types of employer-sponsored visas are available? I think you managed to answer this a while ago, Love. So do you want to perhaps give them, I think you already answered this one.
Yeah, look, like I said earlier, I mean, there's both temporary and permanent options in employer-sponsored. The key thing across all of them is that it's got to be into a skilled occupation. It's an occupation that's on the skills in demand list, specialist skills list. which is available for employer sponsorship. But yeah, in short, both permanent and temporary visa options.
Yeah, true. And I think I cannot send them the. I mean, because there's like they can also check it on the immigration website, love, right? Because like a lot of people like telling that, oh, this is my job, but is it for sponsorship? They can also do some research a bit, and also you can visit our website, guys. We have a lot of details. We have YouTube there that you can learn a lot of things as well. So yeah, you can check our what do you call this? Our website pathwaytous.com, www.pathwaytous.com, and we assist a lot of visas. And if you want to check your eligibility with those visas, you need to book a consult, guys, right, Grant? Yeah, so
That's
we also like sharing our link down in our screen so you can see. If I'm not mistaken, our team also attached the link here in the live. So like if you wanted us to touch base with you guys after the live, we will be in touch with you. Especially if you visit our website, we also have there the info@pathwaytous.com. So you can send us an email and then we will go through or send you through the specific person that's gonna be assisting you with your concern. So now guys, oh, I just wanted to say hi to those people who are saying hi. Hi, Tasil. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for dropping by. Doris, Irfan, thank you so much, guys. Okay, we are now proceeding to question number 3. Wow, we have 99 viewers.
wow, fantastic.
Question number 3. So, do I need a job offer before applying for sponsor visa?
Yes, you do, because the critical component of employer-sponsored visas is the nomination, and that nomination is for a skilled position. So we wouldn't necessarily call it a job offer. We'd call it the nomination for the position that is to be filled. So yes, that has to be done in advance, and then you're visaed against that nomination.
Okay, guys, take note of that. It says nomination. Okay, you should take note of the nomination thingy, and it's also in our website if you want to know more in detail. So like you can also search about the nomination that Grant is talking about. Okay. Okay, I wanted to say hi, Jason. I think there are some Filipinos watching us currently, Grant. And there's a lot of
Fantastic.
Yeah. So we have here Pardeep. I think he's from maybe in what Sing is like more on like middle part, right? Middle East or something. And how much? Okay, someone asked, Kasisi, I just wanted to tell you, love, that if you want to book a consult with Grant, jump on our website. So the consult fee for the professional fee is $220 for 45 minutes, and you can have your one-on-one consult with Grant, so you can check your eligibility. Okay, guys, comment down your concerns, okay? Oh, Pardeep is from Fiji. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for dropping with our live. Okay, we are now going to proceed with question number 4. What occupations are eligible for sponsorship?
Yeah, look, this is a question that comes up quite a bit.
Yes.
In short, there are lists. There are lists of occupations that are available for employer sponsorship, and primarily what we're talking about is the core skills list or the specialist skills list. And the reality is that they are for skilled positions, okay? And typically when the assessment comes, it's going to look at qualifications and work experience relevant to that occupation. All right. So, but the core skills list and the specialist skills list is where you'd start in terms of getting a list of what skilled occupations are available for employer-sponsored visas.
True. And what I noticed, Grant, is like the immigration is very specific with the job function, right? Like with the
they
list.
are. Yeah, they are, and the reality is that occupations might have different names in different countries compared to Australia. Okay, and it's a matter. You've spoken about consultation where we talk about eligibility, but most of a consultation is about strategy Okay, it's
Yes.
how are we
Mm,
going to get to that goal of a skilled visa? And the
mm,
first part of it is
checking.
determining exactly which occupation is the correct occupation for a person.
Mm,
So yes, you're right. Australia is quite specific in terms of what the skills are required for a particular occupation.
yes, guys, so please take note of that. And if you want to book a consult, feel free to check the link here so you can see if your job or your function right now is eligible for that visa, for the sponsorship visa, okay? All right. Thank you so much, Grant, for answering that one. So now we are going to question number 5. So, how much work experience do I need for the sponsorship visa? I know you have
All
a
right.
trending. Okay, yeah.
So look, again, this is a question that we get asked a lot, and the answer is
True.
it depends if we're talking about the temporary or the permanent visa. All right, the temporary visa, the subclass 482, that is the most common employer-sponsored visa that people will apply for. So your essential requirement is relevant qualification and 1 year of full-time work experience. That is what makes you eligible for the subclass 482. And I mentioned this earlier. What we typically would do is have someone on the 482 visa for a period of 2 years and then transition to sponsorship for the permanent visa, the subclass 186. The other option that answers this question around work experience is if you were applying immediately for the permanent visa. It's what's called the direct entry. And to be eligible for that, you have to have qualification and at least 3 years of full-time work experience to be eligible under the direct entry stream. There are other criteria. I have to say this. There are other criteria for the direct entry, such as a skills assessment. So it is certainly possible, depending on the skill set of the applicant. But to come to the question, for a subclass 482, qualifications plus 1 year of experience. For the permanent direct entry, qualification plus 3 years experience.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing it, Grant. I know that's a very common questions with like a lot of clients under Pathway to Us as well. And I also read this a lot of this about this with how much experience do we need and things like that. But thank you so much for sharing. Imagine, guys, you are having this free knowledge from Pathway to Us. That's why always make sure to join our live because this is very helpful for those who really wanted to start their Australia dream. If you're offshore, if you're currently onshore, that's looking for like if someone's gonna sponsor you and you don't know how is the visa. I mean, how is the visa process for sponsorship, or is your employer eligible and things like that? Feel free to book a consult, guys. You have our link down there. You can just copy paste and then check our website, book a consult with our migration agents to check your eligibility. Okay, thank you so much for watching us, guys. Thank you. And, you know, okay, follow our social medias, okay? Take note, follow our social medias so that you will be notified with all the events coming on with Pathway to Us. Okay, Grant, I still have five questions remaining, and this one is very exciting. Number 6, do I need to take English test? Because a lot of people is asking about English test and they are very much afraid of like getting the English test for this type of visa. Yes, so this is number
Yeah.
6.
Now, look, and again, it's a good question, and it's one that's asked. So, the answer is there is an English language requirement for the subclass 482 visa and also the subclass 186 visa. So, if you have to take an English test, will depend on if you are a national of certain passports where English would have been your language of instruction in education and is the common language in your country. So those people do not need a test. And thinking logically here, you're talking about people from the United Kingdom, from Canada, from Ireland, from the USA. Those people do not need to sit an English test because they meet the benchmark. All other applicants, unless they've had an education in English at a certain level, would need to sit a formal English language exam and achieve a competent level. Competent is the equivalent of an IELTS level 6 across the English language exam.
So you should take note of this, guys. So English test is you need to take. Okay. All right. With a sponsorship grant, what do you call this? What is I forgot the term. Is it the minimum required score? Is it the minimum required score? Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a minimum required score, is it?
In terms of what?
Test? The English test for the sponsorship?
English. The minimum is 5. Okay, that's the equivalent of an IELTS 5. That's your absolute minimum. If you've got any score that falls below that, then the test would have to be retaken.
Okay. Okay, guys, take note of those as well who are going to have their sponsorship. Okay. Now we are going. Oh, let me just say hi again to our viewers. Oh, we are getting a lot of questions about sponsorship, and so hi Farzine, hi Rotha, hi Mizra. Guys, please do share this live to your families and friends. Maybe they are also interested in applying and migrating to Australia. So Pathway to Us, guys, is an education and migration agency. So we assist all type of visas. So we are your one-stop shop. Okay, you can go and jump on our website, check check the visas we are assisting. Okay. All right. So by the way, guys, so we are in education and migration, okay? So education, we offer free consult and free processing. Education. But with migration, guys, you need to book a consult, okay, to check your eligibility. Just letting you know as well. Okay, now we're proceeding to question number 7. Almost there. Okay, number 7 is, can my family come with me under sponsorship visa?
Absolutely. Okay, Australia is not interested in splitting families. So, yes, absolutely, dependents can join in an application. By dependents, I mean, partners, children. You can include overage dependents. So when I say overage in Australia, an adult is considered a person who's the age of 18, right? But on certain visas, like, for example, if you've got say a child who's a university student, maybe 20, 21 years of age, for example, so long as they are still dependent on you, then they can be included in your application as well.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. So what do you call this? So Australia is very, because there's a lot of countries, love, right, that they cannot bring their family. And Australia is very a family-oriented country. But that's cool.
Look, 100% we are. Like I said, Australia's got no interest in splitting families. The key to it, like I said, is that if your children are above the age of 18, we need to demonstrate that they are dependent. Okay, it's not so simple as saying they're my child. We have to demonstrate that they're dependent on you to be included in your application.
Okay, thank you so much, Grant. So now we are going to proceed with number 8. Okay, I think this is the one that you're referring a while ago. So can an employer-sponsored visa lead to permanent residency?
Absolutely it can. That's the whole idea of it. Because, Australian business, there's a lot of reasons why Australian businesses sponsor employees from overseas. And one of the main reasons is because they need the skill set that those people can bring. And having gone to the effort of bringing those skill sets into Australia, well, the Australian business wants to hold on to that. So, yes, it is very, very common for a person to initially be sponsored for the temporary visa, the subclass 482, to then be sponsored for the permanent visa, the 186. As I mentioned earlier, we call it the transition stream. You're transitioning from temporary to permanent with the same employer across the same occupation. Okay, it's extremely common pathway that gets you that permanent visa, which is the subclass 186.
Thank you, Grant, for answering that question. That's so cool. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to say hi to our viewers there. So we have 81. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Brilliant.
True. We have a lot of viewers right now. They are very interested regarding the sponsorship visa here in Australia, because there's a lot of people out there really wanting to migrate in Australia, because Australia is a good country. Like, I don't wanna compare it to the Philippines, but it's hard to not compare, to be honest. When I moved here in Australia, especially the environment, the cultures and things like that, it's really a very difference. So like the respect of people with you when you come here, even though you're just a migrant, is so the best. Okay, let's proceed to number 9. How long does the sponsor visa process take?
Yeah, look, great question. Again, depends if we're talking about the temporary or the permanent. But for your temporary one, your subclass 482, I think it's important to remember that there are 3 parts to the application. There's the sponsorship, which is the approval of the business. There's the nomination, which is the approval of the position or the vacancy, and then there's the visa application. So there's 3 parts to it. In total, from start to finish, I advise 6 months you should expect for that whole process to occur: sponsorship, nomination, and visa. For a permanent application, for the subclass 186, realistically, you would need to expect for around about 1 year for the processing of a permanent application, because the criteria is different, and the sort of checks and processes that the Department of Home Affairs case officers will go through are different for the permanent visa. So temporary, around about 6 months, permanent, around about 12 months processing time.
Yeah, and they really need to be like the documents preparation is really does very important to do it as early as possible, love, right? So if ever that they wanted to check their eligibility and things like that, and to check if the employer is eligible for sponsorship, they need to check this first in hand, right? So they need to book a consult.
Yeah, no, 100%. And just like I said earlier, the whole idea of the consultation is not just about confirming eligibility and options, but it's about setting the strategy right.
The strategy.
There are a lot of components to this application, such as labour market testing, genuine position statements, market salary rate analysis. There's a lot of very important parts to this application, and in the consultation, we'll talk through that strategy, and we provide written advice on what that strategy is going to look like for both the employer and the visa applicant.
See, guys, that's the advantage of the consult. Okay, so with this live, we're just giving you the idea how the sponsor visa process is. So please follow us, share our page and our event to your families and friends. So guys, you're so lucky, to be honest, because back when we were just starting, you know what, Grant, when I was like a student, and back in we don't have this one. I mean, like they're so lucky because we have this event now. We have the multi-streaming event, which we focus on student visas and the skilled migration. And also we have the webinar which it's free. They can just join and know about the student visa. They can talk to our agents with free. And also, like, they're gonna have all the resources they needed when they start their student visa or their skilled visas and things like that. So we are giving them the idea now. You're so lucky, guys. Okay, so now we proceed to our last question. Okay, so I have my last question now. And Brad, I'm gonna try to filter some of the questions here later. So I just wanted to tell you guys that all the questions that I will just pick is all about connected to sponsor visa. Okay, so if you wanted to have your question be picked, please comment something that is connected to sponsorship visa, or Okay, so this is my last question, Grant. Can I change employer under sponsorship visa? This is a tricky question.
This is a complex question. It sounds simple, but it is a complex question. So look, the way that I will answer this without sounding too legally is when you are granted the employer-sponsored visa, the subclass 482, it will have a visa condition attached. And that visa condition is that you can only work for your sponsor in your nominated occupation. So you cannot simply go and work for somebody else because you choose to. Okay, you are tied to your sponsor. However, it happens that from time to time the working relationship just doesn't work right, and sometimes that might lead to your employment not continuing. In that circumstance, the Australian government has a very generous provision. You would have a period of 6 months to find a new employer and be sponsored by that new employer. Okay, so if the working relationship breaks down, you have a 6-month period to find a new employer and be sponsored by that new employer. Okay, but like I said, you can't just freely go out and work somewhere else. The employment has to end. Then you have 6 months to engage with a new employer sponsor.
Hope it clarifies. I mean, it really does clarify, because like a lot of people, I mean, I think I remember one of the client here come here with our office before. I think it's the same concern. Is it the same before, love? Like the process before?
The process was the same, but up until the 6-month provision came in about 18 months ago, right? Before that, you had a much smaller time. You had a 28-day period. Now you've got a 6-month period.
Imagine. And though, I mean, yeah.
I mean, 28 days is a little bit unrealistic to
Yeah,
find.
it's hard to find it. So. Imagine if you just what if the sponsor just say that, like, no, and then you have only 20 days. How can you just easily get, and now it's 6 months? That's cool. That's so cool. Yay! I wanted to have a clapping because we managed to finish the 10 questions that I prepared. Marian, can we have the clapping? Yes, but well, thank you so much. Thank you. I see that we have a lot of questions here, Grant. There's a lot of questions, but I'll try to filter that I know it's connected to like things that we are talking about. Okay, guys, just give me a sec. I'll just read a little bit to check. Okay. So I wanted to answer this question first. So Key said he was just like, I'm asking about the consultation. So how long is the consultation? So that takes 45 minutes, love. So for the consultations, it's $220 for a consult with the migration agent here in Pathway to Us, and that's 45 minutes. And with that 45 minutes, I think, Grant, explain everything, right? With the 45 minutes, because it's like common questions that they're gonna like. And aside from that, guys, before we proceed with the booking, the process actually is that we collect first questions from you prior to the booking.
Yep.
That's so that the agents can prep the accurate, I mean, advice they can give you. That's how the process of having the consult with us, guys. We always make sure that when you book, we get all the details from you. We have the questionnaires, we collate all the details from, like, we have the FAQ, you need to fill it up and then provide all the documents so that the agents that will be like assisting you with the consultation, they can advise you all the concerns you want. And you can also send it
Yep.
prior, right, Grant? So usually some clients we
Yep.
have, they send it via email when we do the book consult. And then when we finalize, I think they send the questions sometimes. So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
how our booking do.
Yeah, and it's such an advantage to receive documentation in advance because, like you say, I can prep the night before or earlier in the day, review the content, understand the inquiry and the client, and identify options so that when we come into the consultation, we're just talking directly about the inquirer and what options exist for them. So. Yeah, it's a really good streamlined process. The 45 minutes goes quickly, I accept that, but there's a lot of information that we do cover.
True. Because we always make sure that everything is prepped, guys, before your consultation. Okay, so there's some question. My younger brother has a strong qualification, so if this type of concerns, guys, you really need to book a consult. So can I assist this concern, love? So her question is like, my younger brother has a strong qualification, certificate 3 in wall and floor tiling. Can we talk about the sponsorship of this, like the trade in general?
Yep.
Something like
So
connected.
yeah, so wall and floor tiling is one of many trade occupations that have huge demand in Australia.
True, true.
If I was speaking generally, I'd say anything that is part of building a house is very strongly in demand. Bricklayers, carpenters, painters, tilers, plumbers. Okay, huge demand. Um, so in your brother's situation, if he's completed the Australian qualification, Cert 3, what he would then be doing would be moving on to a graduate visa and completing what's called his Job Ready program. And that would accrue him the 1 year of relevant work experience that's required to then be sponsored for the 482. So it's definitely an occupation that can be sponsored. It's definitely an occupation where there's significant demand. So he just needs to accrue his 1 year of work experience to be able to then be sponsored.
Thank you so much, Mr. Grant, for answering that question. And how about this one, love? So I'm just curious about the aged care sponsorship visa. Like,
Yep. So aged care is an interesting one, and without getting too complicated for for all of our audience, aged care is different in Australia because there's actually what's called a labour agreement, which is for the entire aged care industry. So what that labour agreement means is that any employer in the aged care sector who has signed up to be in that labour agreement can sponsor for occupations in aged care. Um, it is still the same process that we're talking about. It's still the same visa categories that we're talking about, the subclass 482 and the subclass 186. It's just what the difference is that the sponsorship and the nomination are under what's called the labour agreement stream. So, in short, aged care, huge demand in Australia. definitely employer-sponsored options there.
Okay, thank you so much. Guys, I just wanted to clarify, okay? So Pathway to Us is an education and migration agency. So we assist with the visa processing. All right? So Pathway to Us is not a recruitment agency, guys. We don't assist with finding employer or assisting with, sponsorship. So it's gonna be you guys to look for your sponsor or your employer, a potential employer and sponsor. And then after you manage to find your employer, then that's the time Pathway to Us will help you with the visa processing. So you need to book a consult with us. Okay? All right, so let's check this one, love. I'm just curious with this job as well for sponsorship. So I clarify that we are not a recruitment agency, but regarding farming, like farmers for the sponsorship.
Yeah, look, this is one that, quite frankly, I'm happy to talk to the inquirer out of session, because what we're probably going to be talking about here is certain visa streams that are applicable only to Pacific Island nations. Okay, it's not the traditional employer-sponsored visa categories that we're talking about here. So, if Norman would be able to perhaps message through his email address or similar, I'm happy to answer his question out of session, because it is very different to what we're really
Yeah.
talking about today. Yep.
Okay, love. So, how about this sponsorship way for an automotive, the one who studied automotive? It's a, I
Yeah.
mean,
Look,
sorry, JD. Oh, sorry, love. Sorry, JD, we cannot answer this question, but I'm trying to analyze the question into something that is connected to sponsorship, JD. Okay, so please bear with us because this live is all about the sponsorship. So we'll just talk about the automotive sponsorship flow or the
yep.
process for automotive.
Yep. So again, with automotive, there's a couple of different occupations that this could come into. Okay, depending on if you're a diesel mechanic or into more traditional smaller vehicle mechanic. There's different occupations as well in automotive diagnostics. So, but at the end of the day, yes, all of them are available for sponsorship under the 482 visa. So if you've studied automotive, I don't know if you've studied that in Australia or overseas, but if you've studied automotive to an equivalent standard in Australia, and you have 1 year of full-time work experience, then you can be sponsored for the 482 visa.
Okay, JD, if you're someone who has that qualification and experience, feel free to book a consult. Okay, so yes, you can jump on our website, pathwaytous.com, and then check with booking with the migration agent. All right, all right. Okay, let me check some questions here, love. Oh, this one. Can I apply? Okay. Tafzil. So we cannot answer like some if you want to know more about this experience of you, of yours, and I think it's certificate in her. Can I apply hairdresser job? And I just wanted to tell you, love, that we are not a recruitment agency so we don't assist with finding employer and sponsorship. But I'm gonna ask Grant if the hairdressing is also common with sponsorship visa.
Look, I love questions about hairdressing because I have no hair. Okay, so I always love getting these questions.
Okay. So that one, love. Oh my god.
But as we can see from the inquirer, they're a person who has a wealth of experience and qualification in the industry. And yes, I am pleased to advise and confirm that hairdressing is an occupation that can be sponsored for the 482. There is also a separate occupation as well for those that have experience in managing a salon. that's also an occupation that can be sponsored for the 482.
Okay, guys, take note of that. So we've managed to answer the wall and floor tiling, aged care, hairdresser, automotive, the farmers in a different case. And now I'm gonna check. Okay, love, is there an age limit for sponsorship visa?
Look, great question. I love it. Fabulous question. So this is the drum. For the 482 visa, there is no age limit. Okay, so a person can be of any age to be sponsored under the 482 visa. Where an age limit comes into it is for the permanent visa, which is the 186, which has an age limit of 45 years of age. You have to be under 45 at the time that you apply.
Take note, guys. Take note of
Okay.
that, because yeah.
Now I am going to say that, like with many visas, there are some concessions, but they are limited. Like, they're limited to certain medical practitioners, certain regional locations, certain salary thresholds, like the really high salary thresholds. There's some of the people that can overcome that age limit, but the general rule for most people in the permanent visa is under 45. But for the temporary visa, the 482, absolutely no age limit.
Okay, guys, take note of that. You should take, because there's a lot of people, like there's age 48 and things like that. They're like really interested in migrating here in Australia, but they don't know if they're still eligible for the sponsorship. So that's cool. Thank you so much, Grat, for clarifying that concerns of a lot of people out there watching us. Okay, so this one, I wanted to know this graphic designing and data analytic, if this is I mean, Jerica, sorry, I wanted Grant to answer it in a way of sponsorship. Okay, so we can manage to like have you can manage to have a little bit of idea about sponsorship when it comes to computer roles, graphic and designing, and entry level data entry analytics. If you can share it with them, love.
Yeah, look, every occupation. I think this is something that we said earlier in the conversation. Every occupation is defined and has specific roles.
Yeah, the specific roles.
If I'm
True.
talking specifically to the occupation of graphic designer, it is not on the core skills list. So therefore, cannot be sponsored for the 482 unless it is it is in the specialist skills list. So that is this much higher income threshold. It's above 130,000. So
Expensive.
most graphic designers are not going to be in that facility to be sponsored for the 482 visa.
Expensive.
And when you say entry level data analytics, it's a question of, are you suitably skilled as a data analyst? So, entry level is not typically what would be considered to be suitably skilled. I mean, someone who's suitably skilled is someone who's qualified and working at the appropriate level. The occupation of data analyst is available for the subclass 482 visa. It is on the core skills list. So if you are suitably qualified and have 1 year of work experience, then you can apply as a data analyst, yes.
Actually, to be honest, love, I think he's a Filipino, and usually jobs in the Philippines is like the job title is very all mixed up, because when we study, to be honest, like in our course, there's a lot of courses like inside the course, and it's different. Like a lot of things are different, that they don't focus on such just the course itself. That's what I noticed here when with the course. For example, automotive, they just study automotive, And when you say
Yes.
wall and floor tiling, they're just gonna study wall floor tiling. And then when you say business, marketing, and it's just focused on the marketing and things like that. But in the Philippines, if you study a bachelor or things, there's a lot of things inside the course, to be honest. And they're even an
Yeah,
accountant.
yeah,
I mean,
and look. I mean, I've been in the industry 32
mm,
years, and
mm,
I've seen qualifications and transcripts from every corner of the globe,
the
and
world, yeah.
you do always have this. You do always have something
Mm,
where a course might be called something, for example, computing, but then
yeah.
there's all these language subjects that come into it as well. Like
Yeah.
it truly depends on
Mm,
the country where the qualification's issued and what the content of it would therefore be.
mm. Yeah, true, true. Okay, love. So this one, I wanted to know if a truck driver can be sponsored. Is it in the scope?
It can under a Dharma agreement. So I mean,
Dama.
look, we haven't spoken about Dharma, but I did mention earlier about a
Mm,
labour agreement for aged care. Dharma, DAMA, it's an acronym. It stands for Designated Area Migration Agreement. And these are negotiated agreements from a regional location of Australia where they negotiate directly with the Australian government because they have specific needs in their location, and they will negotiate what's called concessions. So concessions on things like age, qualifications, work experience, etc., etc. So in those circumstances, there are a couple of Dharma agreements that allow for truck drivers to be sponsored. So yes, it is possible, but you are limited to Dharma agreement.
okay, guys, take note. Dama agreement. Okay, okay.
And
What I mm,
can I just say one more thing about Dharma agreements, because there's a couple of people that have asked about age, and I spoke through what the key requirement is in the permanent visa space of being under 45. One beautiful thing about Dharma agreements, and I didn't want to go too detailed into it because they are complex, but most Dharma agreements will actually have an age concession up to the age of 55. All right. So if people are skilled and if they are able to be sponsored by an employer in a regional location under a Dharma agreement, then most of those Dharma agreements will have a negotiated age limit of up to 55. So contact us and book in a consult if you're someone who's approaching the age limit, and let's see if there's an option out there for you.
okay, thank you so much, love. And there's this question. I think this is connected to sponsorship. She's asking, I think, yeah, she's asking, can we include siblings under 18 years old for sponsorship?
You could only include a sibling if that sibling is dependent on you. Okay.
Mm,
Now, dependency is complex. It's something that's defined in law, but basically, you're talking about emotional, physical, or financial dependency. And it's not through convenience, it's through need. So, if, for example, your sibling, I don't mean to sound unfortunate with circumstances, but let's say that your parents are deceased and your sibling lives with you, and you are their guardian, or the person that cares for their essential living needs, then
mm,
that sibling would be dependent on you. Okay.
yeah.
Um,
Mm-mm.
but in most circumstances, a sibling is not a dependent. So in most circumstances, will not be included in an application.
Mm, I just found out that one. I mean, I just like, yeah, that's cool. So even
Mm.
So this is for for the 482 visa lang. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Grant, for answering that question. And now I have another question here. Let's just talk about the sponsorship for civil design engineer.
Okay. So occupation's definitely available for the 482. That's without question. You would need an employer sponsor. I mean, that's the whole idea of this conversation today is around employer-sponsored visas. So if you had an employer who was willing to sponsor you under civil engineering occupation, now that could be a civil engineer, a civil engineering technician, a civil engineering draftsperson. All of them are available for 482. So if you get the employer, absolutely the application could proceed.
Thank you so much, Grant. Okay, I have another question regarding 482. Oh, this is a cool question. I mean, not like something that's you're gonna learn. So like, I'm gonna learn or something. Currently, I'm holding 482 visa for 4 years. Could I renew 482 visa at the same employer or a new employer for 4 years?
Yes, you can. Of course, you can. So if the employer is happy to sponsor you again for a 482 visa, then yes, you can certainly renew it. I would ask though. I mean, if you were speaking to me in a consultation space, I would determine if you were eligible for the permanent visa, the 186, because if the employer is willing to sponsor you again for a 482 visa, I'd say, well, why don't they sponsor you for a 186, the permanent visa? So that's one thing that I'd be looking to confirm with you. If they're not willing to sponsor or you're not eligible for the 186, then yes, they could certainly sponsor you again for a new 482, or equally, you can be sponsored by a new employer. It's the same process, sponsorship, nomination, visa.
Okay, Rata, hope Grant answer your question. And yeah, please guide me which visa I need to consider. Okay, Miss Ram, please, with regards, if you want to book a consult with Grant, feel free to jump on our website and look for him. And then book a consult so you can have your one-on-one consult, and then he can, give you a strategy. Okay. So, processing time. Okay, Sabine. Sir, processing time for 482 regional area in Baker occupation.
Look, again, what I say is what I said earlier, approximately 6 months. I'm assuming here that it's a new sponsor with a nomination requirement and the visa requirement. I'd say approximately 6 months. You know, being in regional locations, you might get concessions around labour market testing and things like that. So it might be a bit quicker, but if you predict for 6 months, then you're going to be very close to the mark on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Grant. Hope Sabine, Grant answer your questions. Okay, so this one, love. Do you need the skill assessment with all type of what do you call this for the 482?
Brilliant question. Brilliant question. So this is the thing. There are some occupations in the employer-sponsored 482 that have a mandatory skills assessment. However, the majority need a mandatory skills assessment. Those that do have a skills assessment primarily are your trade occupations. You know, your plumbers, your carpenters, your bricklayers, glaziers, things like that, all have a mandatory skills assessment. But the vast majority of subclass 482 does not require a skills assessment.
Take note of that, guys. Take note of that. And if you want to know about skill assessment, feel free to to check it as well, guys. If you want in detail about skill assessment, because you can just do ChatGPT. Sure. I mean, you can do Google search about skill assessment. So if you want to learn more about it, and then once you analyze what it is, then yeah. Okay. Thank you so much about that, love. And now I wanted us to assist, um, to check this one. I think for mining, for the sponsorship is under mining. Like, is it eligible for sponsorship mining jobs? What is mining jobs?
Well, well, that's the thing. It's not generically called a
Mm,
mining in Australia. The occupations, there could literally be many different occupations that this comes
okay.
into, um, with regards to with regards to engineering disciplines or technician disciplines. So
Mm,
really would I wouldn't be able to answer this without more
okay.
information. I'd need to know
Mm-mm.
exactly what sort of work is being
Understood.
performed in the
The
mining
mining.
industry,
True.
to determine what the equivalent occupation is in Australia, so that I could then advise if that's available or not.
Mm. Actually, because I think because the reason why they're very much interested in this is because FIFO is very
Mhm.
trending in social media. So like the fly in, fly out, and then they were
Yep.
like a lot of people is working there. I even know one like, but he's working as a chef. So that's Francis. That's what Grant is telling you, that in mining there's a lot of like occupations, right? Doing or like if it's.
That's exactly right. I mean, in the FIFO workplaces, you have chefs, you have hospitality managers, you
Mm,
have gym managers, you
true.
have a whole range of
Mm-mm,
occupations,
mm-mm,
not just those that are hands on with mining work. Your engineers,
mm-mm,
your technicians, your mechanics. So,
mm-mm,
like I said, there's so many different occupations
mm-mm,
that make up mine sites. I'd need to be able to drill down specifically on
mm-mm.
what Francis
Type of occupation.
does,
Mm-mm.
and get the occupation for him. Yep.
Mm. So, Francis, you need to book a consult, okay? All right. Oh, I think we're nearly finished. Guys, sorry, I cannot assist all the concerns regarding sponsorship in the questions down with the comment. But take note, guys, we always have our live. We have in TikTok, we have in our multi-streaming. So, guys, visit the website or follow our page so you'll know what are the next events coming in. You're so lucky, guys, because we are giving you this type of events that you can learn more about how to migrate here in Australia. Okay, love. I'm gonna look for one question that is connected with sponsorship visa, and then I know we're done. Okay, so last question here. Okay. Oh, I think we managed to answer all questions. Is it? Oh no, we have a lot, and they even like comment down their number. Okay. Hmm. Temporary shutdown now happen a visa again. Uh, there's a lot. There's a lot. I'm sorry guys, we cannot assist all your concerns. But it's all about this one. Last. Do you have Paul? Please take note. We are in a recruitment agency, but I just wanted Grant to talk about the sponsorship about plumber. So I'm sorry, Paul. We're not a recruitment agency.
Yeah. No, look, I mean, I said it earlier. Any occupation that's involved in building a house has huge demand in Australia. Plumbing being one of those occupations. So, yes, there is most definitely
Sponsor.
opportunity, and it's most definitely eligible for employer-sponsored visas. The occupational plumber.
Okay, Paul, if you have experience and if you have qualifications, please book a consult. Okay, so I think, guys, we managed to assist all the questions until such time that we finish this live. But for all those who comment down below, I'm really sorry because we cannot assist all your concerns because we have limited time. But please follow us, share our page, and comment your families and friends about our company. So here with Pathway to Us, we assist with the visa. We are an education and migration agency. So Grant here is one of our migration agent who can assist you guys with checking your eligibility with the other type of visa aside from student visa. So please jump on our website, check all our services. So anything you want to tell them, Grant, before we say goodbye to them.
Look, I would say to you to please don't be shy about reaching out, booking a consultation, and confirming if you are eligible, because one thing that we all know in this industry is that things do change. The list of occupations that are available does change. Occupations that were available one year aren't available the next. So you don't want to miss out on your opportunity. Book a consultation, talk through, identify the options, and if you're eligible, apply. It's as simple as that. Because if you delay, then you might run into problems with occupations changing or criteria changing. All right. So find
Yeah.
out and then action.
Yeah, and also the visa fees changing. Right. So you need to take note of that as well, viewers. So if you want to know more about those things that Grant is telling you, visit our website, guys. You'll learn a lot there. And also our YouTube. Live.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you so much.